Sis and tell, a whole lot of talk, about a whole lot of nothing. Amanda does stand up, Alison's on TV, and when they hop on the phone, it's the place you wanna be. Sis and tell.
Hey, Allie.
Hi, man. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. What's going on today? You're in purple. Is that a shirt or is it a pajama top? It's hard to tell.
Oh, I don't really iron, but I have an iron. I also have a steamer, and it doesn't work. That clothing steamer, you don't work.
I love clothing steamers. I would steam. I would actually have people drop stuff off to me just to steam. I enjoy it so much.
Okay, I'm on my way with
bring that purple schmata over. I will get it in working condition.
Look, it's ribbed.
Oh, it is. It's sort of like corduroy. It looks like corduroy up close.
Yeah.
No, I don't think you're supposed to iron that. I still can't figure out what it is, though.
Right.
I'm assuming it is a shirt.
It's ribbed for my pleasure because I don't have to iron it.
Lovely, lovely. Well, I'm asking because Alan and I went out for the first time to a public event last night, and figuring out what to wear was actually quite exciting.
Did you put on your wedding dress? What did you wear?
I missed wearing my wedding dress for our most recent anniversary, but I wore this shirt. It was a smaller gathering at our local art museum, and everybody came in masks and in masks, and I think everybody we spoke to, we knew probably a fifth of the people there. And everybody we spoke to, I'm like, well, I'm vaxxed. Oh, I'm vaxxed. So I feel pretty comfortable as a pretty solidly vaccinated crowd, or at least the people we were even close to.
Was it outside?
It was inside, but it's a huge atrium.
Yeah.
And anyway, it really, I never thought I would be so nervous or like nervous and excited
like
to
first
just
day of
go to the
school
museum.
Outfit.
Yeah. So I have this shirt that I bought, and I would say, I try to dress to the occasion. It's sort of artsy. So we're going to an art museum. It's got these like cool sleeves, and you would see the shirt. You'd be like, I cannot believe you even own that shirt. It's sort of me, but not me. It's long and white and striped, but it's got these, I'm not going to be able to do it justice and explain it, but
you're not
it's it's a little funky. And it's very comfortable. So anyway, I got excited to get dressed, and I realized I hadn't really worn heels in a long time. I mean, I don't know about you, but I'm in like tennis shoes, sometimes socks and slippers.
I live in my Chucks, right? So it's like when you put on high heels and you haven't worn them in a long time, it's like you feel like a 12-year-old wearing high heels for the first time.
Yeah. And I didn't really put on heels. I mean, I put on it's still kind of cold down here. So I put on this boot with a slight heel, but I was not alone in wanting to display the accessories that have been stored in our closet for some time, because I was noticing that the women in the room were wearing some amazing shoes. And fun outfits too, but like there was this one woman, I think her heels, they must have been 6-inch stilettos in bright pink. There's no way I'm ever, or probably would have worn them, but there's no way I could throw those on my feet now. I'm just not doing it.
I'm not, I'm having this flashback to when one of my best friends from high school, Hillary, her sister Ashley, got married at the Birmingham Art Museum, and I wore stilettos, and they were brand new. And one thing about brand new shoes is the bottoms are
very slippery.
They're very slippery. And the thing about an art museum is those floors are usually
very slick.
Yeah. So I had to I think Sid was with me, and I just remember holding his arm the entire time. I could not walk.
You needed a walker, just to get around.
Right? Oh, God. It was hard. At some point, you just take your shoes off. I need shoes that I can dance in. Right? Whether I'm dancing or not.
Like, even if you're just going out to dinner, you need to be prepared. Yeah.
Yes. Right. And then you can't walk around. What if you want to take a little stroll after your meal and you can't? Right. Because you're wearing stilettos and they get stuck in things like the sidewalk. Or you're like aerating the grass, when you walk by.
Well, I'll tell you, right before COVID hit, I think we might have discussed this, but I emceed this American Heart Association Heart Ball. It wasn't right before, maybe a year before. And I had to wear a floor-length gown for this MC job. And I was looking for shoes to wear, and I realized nobody's going to see my feet because the dress is floor-length. so why don't I just wear tennis shoes? Which is my big regret, I will tell you, from our wedding, was
Yes.
I wasn't smart enough. Also, this was 1997. I'm not sure people were doing it,
To
but
wear
to wear
sneakers.
sneakers because nobody could
Yeah.
see my feet then either. Instead, I wore new white shoes that killed me by the end of the night, which is
Right.
fine. I kept them on, but now I'm smart. Now I'm smart and I want to be comfortable. So I thought I'm going to wear sneakers. So I went to the mall, I went to Dillard's, and I had it in my head what I needed, and they had these exact shoes. A 2-inch platform white tennis shoe with bling all around, like a sparkly, it looked like a tennis shoe you'd buy to wear to a wedding. And I thought, I'm wearing this. Perfect.
Yeah.
And I was able to stay in those shoes without incident, injury, or uncomfortableness for, I promise you, like 7 hours. And it was a whole new world. I thought, this
Formal
is what men
sneakers.
feel like at the end of the night. they
Right.
they are not like carrying their shoes to the car, and everyone knows once you wear heels and you take them off to try to make your feet feel better, there's no going back. There is no
No.
putting those heels back on
No.
because then
It's
you're
like your
crippled.
foot has
Yeah.
expanded too.
Yeah.
Well, this reminds me of when Aaron and I got engaged. We learned to dance for our wedding, and we danced to Some Kind of Wonderful. So it was, I don't need a whole lot of money. I don't need a big fast car. You know that song.
I know it.
Some
Yes.
kind
Thank
of
you.
wonderful. Yes, he is. So I was told that as you're learning your dance, you should bring your wedding shoes, right? So that the first time you're dancing to it, you're not in your wedding shoes. So Aaron had these, giant formal shoes. He wears like a size 13, so they already look like clown shoes, and they hadn't been broken in yet. And we go to Miss Kitty's apartment. This is like she's like a studio apartment in
Are
New
you
York.
sure Miss
And
Kitty's only teaching ballroom dancing?
right, I don't know. Miss Kitty could have been running a brothel. That's what she's like. She probably looks how you're picturing her in your head, right? She's got, first of all, she has like a bar, like a ballet bar in her
Oh, I'm
apartment.
thinking you thought you meant like an alcoholic bar. I'm like,
No,
that's
but
nice.
she had probably had a martini or two before we got there. She's got like a lot of makeup on. She's probably wearing the same amount of makeup she used to wear in her 20s, and she's like 60. But she's got like the dance leotard on and the skirt, and she's ready to go. And Aaron is having a really hard time dancing in these shoes because they're so big and they're not worn in yet. He leaves to go to the bathroom, and she turns to me and she goes, "Is something wrong with him?" And I was like, "No, ma'am, he just has big feet." But she would yell at us, and she was so mean. Miss Kitty was mean. She's probably still teaching in the city too. She's like had so much to drink, she's like formaldehyded herself.
Okay, so what's funny is we also took dance lessons, but back up a little bit. So Alan and I, we only dated 6 months before we got engaged. And the whole 6 months we were long distance. I was living and working in Atlanta, and he was living and working in Spartanburg, South Carolina, 2.5 hours away. And so I just remember there were times, we didn't have cell phones back then. So everything was by the landline. So there was like a Tuesday night or a Wednesday night where he's always like, "Oh, I have a meeting, or I have to do this, or I have to work late." And I wasn't smart enough to notice a
Catch
recurring
on.
theme. Yeah. So finally, after a few months of dating, he says, "There's something I need to tell you." I said, "Okay." He goes, "I've been doing something, but I haven't quite been totally honest about it." And I'm like, "Oh, these are not the words you want to hear when you've been long distance dating somebody for 2 months and have no idea what they're doing in their real life." I'm like, "Okay." And so he looks at me, and anybody who knows Alan knows it can only be something G-rated, right? Like, what is he doing? He goes, "I've been going to private ballroom dancing classes every Wednesday night after work." And I'm
That's
like,
so cute. Oh my
"Okay."
gosh.
And I said, "So, but why? Are you training for something?" He said, "No, it's just all of my friends are getting married, and I knew I would have to go to all these weddings, and I wanted to be able to dance with whoever I could find."
Ballroom dance?
I
Yeah.
guess and it gives you the basics. I'm like, okay. So by the time we got engaged and I moved to Spartanburg to be with him, he still had his private ballroom teacher who sounds very much like Miss Kitty, except not as much bling, not as much makeup, very short hair, but still that dancer's body and poise. And she was adorable. She was probably in her 60s or 70s too. And the funniest part is, so she would want to demonstrate how to do the dance and use me as her partner. And then we'd look over and Alan would be sleeping. So
this is before you found out he had narcolepsy.
That's when I found out he had narcolepsy. So all of this is coming out. You don't learn a lot about someone when you long distance date for only 6 months. Yeah, so that's when I found out he had also narcolepsy. Good intentions. He has some great dance moves and narcolepsy, which is, after the end of a long work day. So we started doing ballroom dancing together, which was fun. And it's fun to think back to your wedding and to do sort of a formal organized dance.
Yeah. Well, speaking of parties, I would love, I feel like I have so many friends now that we didn't know when we got married that I wish were at our wedding, but we didn't know them, right? Like, I was like, why weren't you? You should have been in my wedding,
Yep.
but I didn't know them. And it's like, when things get back to really normal, I would love to have an anniversary party where we invite everyone over. We have wedding cake and champagne and like a really good DJ, and we just dance. And that's what I really want to do that. I just think that would be so
I think
fun.
Mommy probably still has part of your cake in the freezer. So just tell her to bring that out. And
we ate it. No, we ate that cake. It was good.
we
A
ate
year
ours,
later.
we ate ours a year later. It was delicious.
Well, my friend Lori, every year she has an anniversary, and she celebrated her 5th year anniversary with her husband Brian. They get the bakery to make a tiny version, who made their wedding cake, to make a tiny version of their wedding cake.
Oh, that's sweet.
And it's a beautiful cake. But it's the sweetest thing. It's such a pretty cake. It was a pretty cake then, and it basically looks like the top, right? Like
Yes.
A little, like
It's a smash cake for a baby, right?
Right.
Just the
like,
top.
It's like enough for like 4 big pieces of cake. But anyway, I thought that was so cute. But I would just get something from Publix, because Publix has the best cake.
We've established that they have the great cake, and I don't really like cake, so I'd rather them. Can we do it? Can you also have like an alternative to the cake, like a apple crumble or banana cream pie, or I don't know.
Oh, you know what? I also had a Facebook memory pop up of Jacob and Sarah Siegel's wedding, and you know what they had at their wedding? They had pies. They had
pies are
different,
delicious.
like tiny pies and hand pies and pies on a stick, and pie is just delicious.
Now I'm hungry. I haven't eaten breakfast yet.
So I know I keep on talking about Clubhouse, but that social networking app where it's just audio based. But I got into a discussion with people about, it was all these British people, about what a biscuit is in America. And like a biscuit in the UK is a cookie, right? And they're like, what is a biscuit? And someone said, oh, well, the best way to describe it is it's a scone. I'm like, but it's not a scone.
No.
And they saw a picture and they're like, oh, it's a scone. I'm like, no, you can't call it a scone because it's not. And we have scones and they're called scones.
Yeah.
We don't, but it's like, how do you describe a biscuit, like a Southern biscuit, an American biscuit, whatever you want to call it, that, like, how do you I couldn't
even. It is
even.
a flaky, buttery drop of heaven.
Yes.
That's it.
Right? Butter.
My
That's what I
friend
said. Like
Josh, my friend Josh, he has an ongoing tab and reviews, personal reviews. I don't think he publishes them, of the best biscuits he ever eats and the best ice cream he ever eats.
But biscuits, there are also different types of biscuits.
That's
There's
why.
Like
well, that
the
he
peel apart biscuit.
he
like
has a specific right. I think it depends on how you like your biscuits, because there's a couple places. Obviously, I mean, I'm sure in Atlanta too, but in Chattanooga, there's some biscuits. It's so funny you're saying this, because we went out to dinner after our first outing out with my brother and sister-in-law, and we ordered for appetizers. They had a biscuit platter. Like, who's not going to order biscuits for appetizers? We could have eaten these for desserts. When I tell you, I'm going to show you, and then I'm going to describe. These biscuits were probably 5 inches in circumference. They were.
It's like the size of your head.
Huge. Yeah, they were huge.
It's like a smash cake.
It was like a smash. It was the size of a smash cake, and I didn't even have to taste it to know they were going to be one of the best biscuits I've ever had. They were so delicious. We only ate 2 of them, and there's this giant one left, and I'm like, I'll be taking that home. That thing is not going to waste because we can share that for dinner tomorrow night. It is so big. But now I'm thinking because I'm the only one home, I may just eat it for lunch and then pretend that I didn't know where I put it in the refrigerator.
So biscuits is you can't compare it to a scone because would you eat scones and gravy? No.
But scones are delicious. Let's be clear.
Right.
Scones are delicious, but they're
not
not biscuits. They're
I'm
not
not knocking the
biscuits.
scone. I'm just saying it's not a good comparison because you wouldn't slice a scone in half and put jelly on it. Maybe you would if you
Yeah,
had
you
daddy.
would. Oh,
Yeah, okay.
yes.
But you wouldn't put like a fried chicken fillet on it. No. That's what we do. We turn biscuits. You wouldn't put like an egg on
Right.
it.
I will say Mimi's biscuits could have almost had the consistency of a scone. They were a
Yes.
little dry and
That's
hard
true.
and yeah,
They
so
not.
they
I
were
love
not the flaky kind, right?
Mimi's biscuits were not my favorite. Okay. She made some other things and that were delicious and perfect. Biscuits was not one of them. I mean, I'm actually happy with the frozen Mary B's biscuits, the buttermilk biscuits.
The frozen biscuits, if you can
Those are
find, I bought one the
great.
other day. I don't know if it's the brand you're talking about, but there's 6 biscuits in this, and they're already pre-baked, which I've never seen. So you just reheat them. The
No,
ones
that's
I'm used to, you
good.
bake in the oven, but these were also quite delicious. Because
Yeah.
what's not good is there's kinds in the tin. I know people are now
No,
very
I don't.
upset that we're
I
even
don't
buying
like
them.
those.
Those
I
are
don't
not
like
good.
those. Those are not good. Those are good for like monkey bread, and that's
Yes.
about it.
Yeah. But they don't taste like real biscuits. They taste like canned biscuits. But the
So
frozen in a bag, they're good.
I'm going to tell you the best recipe is the Cook's Illustrated has a cat head biscuit recipe, but you have to have buttermilk and you have to
Yeah.
get Crisco, which I don't know if British people or anyone outside of the United
Like
States or the
Crisco, like the
Southeast
white
know what
Crisco?
Yeah, Crisco. You use Crisco. And they're so good. But also, my friend Angela makes biscuits, and they're a different consistency. And now I'm thinking Angela's biscuits are the best, and she makes honey butter. It is honey butter.
Okay, so I did take the honey butter with the biscuit that I took home, and I'm totally having that for lunch. You know, I need to update everybody on my eating habits now because I've established a pattern.
Intermittent fasting.
No, I'm an intermittent
I'm
fasting.
intermittently constantly eating biscuits.
Yes. No, here's what I am. I've finally figured out how to phrase it. I told somebody the other day, I am an intermittent fasting pescafilletarian. That's it. Someone said, is that a real thing? I said, it is now. So this is what it means. I do intermittent fasting intermittently because typically I do it Monday through Friday. And then on the weekends, I like to have brunch. So I'll eat around 10, but I usually eat from 12 to 8. So I intermittent fast. And I'm not a vegan or a vegetarian. I'm a pescatarian, except I think we've also established every so often I like to eat Chick-fil-A. So, which makes me a pescafilletarian, not fillet the steak. And it's working well. My goal is at my annual physical, which is next month, in exactly almost a month from today, to see if my blood work is any different. Let's be clear. I didn't have anything that was of concern.
Yeah.
I didn't have high blood
Mommy and Daddy are
pressure.
listening, so
Yeah, it's fine. I don't have high cholesterol. I don't have high blood pressure. But I do want to see if, like, she's like, oh my goodness, your blank levels are amazing.
And then you're like, I don't even know what the blank level is.
And
It's
I don't
like,
even know I had needed to
right?
work on the blank levels.
I
Yeah.
have to say, I'll take a compliment where I can get one. One time the eye doctor told me I had steep corneas, and I was like, thank you. Um,
I've been working on these corneas.
Thank you. My corneas are so steep.
What does that mean, steep corneas?
It means I have giant eyeballs. I don't
You do,
know.
you do have giant eyeballs, and I'm not even a doctor. I can tell you that.
I do have big, beautiful brown eyes, and
Oh.
they're steep. My corneas are steep. So it's funny that you brought up pescatarian
Yes.
because for those of you who didn't take Latin, or everyone knows what a pescatarian. It's someone who eats fish. But so I had this story in my head, and I was like, I'm not going to talk about this story unless Allison brings up fish.
my eating habits. Yeah.
No, unless you specifically brought up fish, and you did, which is weird.
Wow. Okay,
I
now you
feel
have
like
to.
I have to, and I have to say, and I'm going to fast forward through part of this story because no one wants to hear the details, but I'm just going to say that when we were on spring break with Mommy and Daddy, there was an incident with my husband, Aaron, and him making, and I'm putting this in quotes, ceviche.
Oh
Okay.
no.
Yeah, there was an incident. There was an incident with him trying to make his own ceviche, and we had some words about how long you marinate. And
Really, 30 minutes. You're only supposed to marinate 30 minutes.
uh, it's but all okay, all right. But he just kind of, but yeah, you have to have a certain amount of lemon and lime juice, right?
Correct. But it's funny because I
It,
almost made my own ceviche
yeah.
like 2 weeks ago. So I looked this
Okay.
up, and there is something to be said about over intensifying it with the
Right.
citrus,
I
with the acid.
understand, but you need okay. Anyways, we
Sorry.
had some
Yeah.
we had some discussion. Okay, we'll just say that. And now he's addicted to making ceviche. He has brought the addiction back to the house, which I don't want to eat it. I don't want to eat his ceviche. I like ceviche. I'm not interested in his ceviche. And he bought 2 whole fish from the farmer's market, trying to fillet them. He doesn't know how to fillet, so I'm watching him manhandle this fish. And this was after an incident in the outside garage refrigerator where fish juice spilled everywhere, all over it. I've literally been cleaning. It has a smell. The refrigerator outside smells like fish. I have tried to clean it so many times. I've taken it apart. I'm spraying every corner. It still smells like fish. I get like a bleach and water mixture, and
Then it smells like bleach.
but it did the trick, and it cleaned it. It cleaned it. Finally, the fish smell was out. He had made ceviche so much, and he said, "I'm not gonna make ceviche anymore." It's like, thank you, because he kept on trying to get me and Murray to eat it. And it's one thing for us to taste cooked fish; it's another thing to taste someone's raw fish. And
Well, because besides the fact that it may not be
sushi grade,
it may not be sushi grade, right? You worry about
Yeah.
the fish quality, not even
Right.
that you haven't
Yeah.
ceviche'd it enough.
What the only fresh fish we can get in Atlanta is like catfish, right? No one's
Ugh.
making catfish ceviche. That just
Wait, so are you going to talk about the incident over spring break? Because I feel like by glossy, you kind of said there was an incident. I feel like we're back in that
Well,
Seinfeld
okay,
episode where
so
they keep going
basically-
yada yada yada, and I don't know what the
No,
yada yada
well,
yada is.
The incident is just the disagreement over how long to marinate and whether to anyways, following a recipe. Basically, I just wanted him to follow
It's
a
not like
recipe.
people though I'm picturing if there's an incident.
No one got
Someone
sick.
got sick.
No one got sick, and the fish he got was very fresh because we were at the beach. So
Okay.
that was probably the safest of
So
the
you're
fish.
just saying you had a disagreement and you're calling it an
Calling
incident.
it an incident. Okay. But so anyways, I'd say more of the incident was this refrigerator smelling like fish for 2 weeks. Then finally cleaned it, and then I was like, thank God it worked. And then I opened it up the other day, and I get a big old whiff of fish, and I'm like, gosh darn it, why does it smell like fish again? And then I look, and there's a big Pyrex dish with a piece of fish marinating in there for ceviche. So I don't know what to do about this. I'm like so sick of raw fish. I used to like fish, and now I'm like, seriously, I'm so close. I got so grossed out. I'm like, I might stop eating meat again, because then I had to make chicken, and raw chicken is what led me down the path of being a vegetarian for 20 years. And I was like, oh, it just looks awful to me. It's a gross out factor. Got so close to being like, I'm not eating meat. And then you know what happened?
You tasted the ceviche?
No. I went to Publix and I smelled that fried chicken.
That will do it. I
That's
don't
all
think
it
you need
took.
bleach and water anymore. Anytime he's making ceviche, you go buy yourself a box of Publix fried chicken.
Publix fried
And
chicken.
that I think they should make fried
candle.
chicken candles.
Yes.
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 That's got to exist. That's got to exist.
How can we?
Chicken and biscuits. I think
Yes.
if you could buy candles.
But it. Yeah.
Yeah, that word.
Look it up.
Chicken and
Research
biscuit.
department.
Research department. See if that exists.
Okay. Let's see what happens. Chicken and biscuits candle.
If that doesn't exist, we are on to something. I see Shark Tank in our future.
Okay, so if anyone's gonna have it, it's either like the Yankee Candle Company.
I
or,
feel like Cracker Barrel may have something like that.
Oh my
That would do gangbusters.
So immediately I see a gravy candle, which
Ugh,
that
no,
I'm not so
no.
sure about that. And I see a Kentucky Fried Chicken candle.
Too greasy. Too greasy.
No, but look, it's got Colonel Sanders is on it.
But does it smell like fried chicken? I see the kernel.
It says it does. It says KFC's new candle. Yeah, the Today Show picked it up.
Oh my gosh, we are going to have to
Fancy.
get that candle.
Thank you, but smells like fried chicken. That's what I need.
Okay, this would be so fun though, like to get scents of all different foods. And then like your kids come home, they're like, "Ooh, fried chicken for dinner?" Nope, spaghetti. Like, "Ooh, are we having steak tonight?" Nope, spaghetti.
Okay, so I came across a blog and it's 11 candles that smell like food and drink.
See?
What else? There's a
Okay,
brisket
I'm gonna try to
I
guess.
just can't. Oh
There's
yeah,
a
try to guess.
brisket candle. Okay,
Yeah, I'll give you that.
that's
What else?
hilarious.
What
There's
other?
got to be pizza.
Yes, there's a pizza candle.
Okay. I'm
It's
gonna
drinks
oh,
also.
and mix and drinks. Oh,
Yeah.
there's a hot chocolate candle.
Oh, let me see. That would be oh, gross. Oh my
What
God.
is it? What is it?
Oh,
Tell me.
maybe. No, there's not a hot chocolate.
See, there should be. How about an apple cider?
No, I would say guess the food. You'll
Oh,
never guess this one.
I-
That's cute.
oh, apple pie.
That's not listed here, but everyone knows about the apple pie candle. That's been around
Yeah.
forever.
Well,
This is more.
remember the apple pie? They used to sell this at the mall. It wasn't a candle. It was something that you put in your oven and you baked it for like 10 minutes so it made your house smell like apple pie.
Brilliant.
Yes, well that first of all, it's brilliant and cruel in equal measure because if I came home, I
And
love
there
apple
was
pie and there's no apple pie, just the smell of it, I'd be very upset. However, the thing about the apple pie smell that I've heard from real estate agents is that it makes a house like more enticing. Have you heard that?
Well, do you remember when you and Alan were looking at houses to buy in Chattanooga and we were with you and they had taken, it almost looked like muffin tops, blueberry muffin tops, and they had put them in the toaster and made the house smell like
It's a
that.
thing. It's a thing. I think people
Yeah.
do that.
They do. I was with you. That was,
That's
don't you
really
remember that?
funny. Yeah. No,
We
I
didn't
don't
get
remember
that
you being
house.
with me, but I remember that from when we were looking. And that's what people do. They bake things or bake fake things. In this case, that fake Pyrex or whatever, it was
Right.
a clay structure. I can picture it. I think
bet
it
it
was like
still
woven. It
exists.
was like a basket weave and you put it in your oven
Would
and
it
it smells
melt?
like apple pie.
Well, let me tell you.
All right, what else? What are the other scents?
Some of them are disgusting. Okay? Like, in what world would you light up a burrito candle?
Oh, no.
No. But it's listed on the Stinky Candles website. There's
Oh.
stinky candles. So that makes sense.
Please don't say there's a Brussels sprouts candle because
No,
I made Brussels sprouts the other night and we couldn't get the smell out for 2 days.
that's why I feel like kale. You know, they both have that schnitzel. It's not just a schnitzel candle. It's schnitzels and noodles. Like noodles don't even have a smell.
Noodles. And who puts
Seriously?
schnitzel with their noodles?
Right?
Or
What
who
kind
puts
of-
noodles with their schnitzel?
I
Let's
guess
be
is
clear.
that like a German thing? Because there's Germans eat schnitzel. That's a whole thing,
Yeah,
and
but we
maybe they
eat
eat it with
schnitzel.
noodles.
All
It
right.
looks like egg noodles.
I feel like the
specifically.
fried chicken and the schnitzel will have the same smell.
They have BLT, a BLT, bacon, which makes sense.
Bacon makes sense. I should have
Okay.
guessed that. Yeah.
And then there's a White Castle slider candle.
Oh,
and
that's so funny.
what's cute is that the candle, it's like a ceramic, it looks like the slider envelope, you know, the thing that the hamburgers come
Oh,
in.
yeah. The little
And-
sleeve. That's
yeah,
cute.
the
Oh,
sleeve.
that's the candle?
Yeah, that's the candle.
That's cute.
Isn't that cute? But we don't have White Castle down south. We have Crystal,
We have
which
Crystal.
is from Chattanooga, right? Isn't
Yeah.
Crystal based in
Was
Chattanooga?
based the company's no longer based here, but yeah, it was founded and based in Chattanooga for decades. So that's what one of our famous entities. We're all about the food and drink down here.
I'm gonna go buy that KFC candle, and it better smell like Bubba's
cannot
fried chicken.
Wait to smell that candle. That is so funny. I think that is going to counteract the ceviche fish smell.
Oh God, can I put a candle in my refrigerator?
Not
Like
your
a-
refrigerator.
But you know what? That's a good point. Like they have air fresheners for your rooms. Why don't they make air fresheners for the refrigerator? All they have is like a baking soda thing that's supposed to absorb odors.
Oh, so now we're on to something. What if they started making flavored, scented, not flavored, but scented baking powder?
Yes.
I mean, baking soda. That's the one you
Yes.
put in there, right?
Yeah.
Scented baking soda.
Mhm.
Now we're on to something.
So it's absorbing the smell and also emitting a pleasant, cleanly
Right.
odor,
Right.
right?
This could be a thing.
This is a thing.
Because my refrigerator, it needs help.
Yeah.
The problem is sometimes there's something like an old cucumber or something, and it starts to smell. And if I mask the smell, I'll never find the culprit.
I just cleaned out my refrigerator because it was Leaning Tower of pizza. Really, we had like so many leftovers, and so I a lot of them could be tossed. And I found 5 containers of Parmesan cheese, kind you shake.
Oh yeah,
right. Because Ruby's got this new addiction to Parm, and I was so I kept on opening them up because I didn't see it, and that's why you have to clean out your fridge. Thank you for listening to the latest episode of Sis and Tell Podcast. We're excited to announce the Sis and Tell Podcast candle. It smells. It smells
like hot air.
And if you'd like to check out my steep corneas, you can check us. You can go to our Facebook page, Sis and Tell. Just look us up. We're everywhere. We're everywhere you want to be.
As always, this has been Amanda and Allison with a whole lot of talk about a whole lot of nothing. We'll catch you next time.